Where Hunter Biden, president's son, they're expected to go into the courthouse there, have a plea deal. Now we are learning the judge won't accept their parts of the Hunter Biden plea deal, and he has pleaded not guilty in the tax case against him here. So we are keeping an eye on this shot here, and we'll continue to track it right here for you. Just to have the podium set up as well, just in case anybody comes to the podium here. But we want to continue on right here on Live Now from Fox, and joined in by a guest here of Live Now, Dwane Cates, a defense attorney. Thanks so much for being here on Live Now here for us this morning and afternoon. And yeah, what a shocker going on for the president's son right now.
Well, it's not really a huge surprise. This plea was so far outside the norm that I even without all the other stuff that went on around it, with them calling the chambers and telling them not to look at the brief and everything else, even without that, I thought the judge was going to have a little problem with it. I've been doing this 25 years. I've done numerous gun charges in federal court. I have never, ever, ever seen a diversion plea in a gun case. It just doesn't happen.
So that did not sit well there with the judge, and you saw that coming there, Dwane. So now tell us what will happen next here as we are going to be seeing soon Hunter Biden come out of that courthouse.
Well, they're going to have to revise the plea, and what they're going to revise it to, I don't know. And what the judge will accept, I don't know, until we get the reports from inside the courtroom about what the judge was doing, exactly, and what her instructions were. It's going to be kind of hard to tell, but they're going to have to seriously revamp this plea in order for the judge to accept it.
And what do you think some of the ways they will look at that to revamp that to more get into line of what the judge would want to see?
Well, there was some confusion about whether this granted him complete immunity for anything that's happened in the past, or whether the prosecution could still bring charges against him for other things. And so that's going to have to be clarified. And again, with all the information that's coming out recently, I think it's going to be really hard to get something past this judge.
Yeah, so true there. And a big moment there in the courthouse today was where the judge asked prosecutors if Hunter Biden is still under investigation, and they said yes.
Right, and that contradicts a statement they made earlier that this resolves everything for Hunter Biden. And so that's a big conflict between what they're saying. So they're going to have to clarify in this plea agreement and if I was Hunter Biden's attorney, I mean, one of the reasons you sign a plea agreement is to get rid of all future liability in the future. It resolves every case, everything you've got going on, and so that's normal. And this one, we don't know for sure. They're going to have to clarify it.
Yeah, they definitely will here. So the timeline, what does something like this then look like for Hunter when the judge not willing to accept that plea deal as it stands right now? How much back and forth now goes on between the prosecution and his defense team?
Well, there's going to be a lot of back and forth going on. And if I was the defense team, after the shenanigan they pulled of calling the judge's chambers, I would be livid with them. In fact, there's got to be some sort of bar complaints, disbarment, some sort of penalty for that. You don't call a judge's chamber and pretend to be somebody else. That's about almost as bad as lying directly to a federal judge.
Yeah, so true there. And if you're just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, we are talking to defense attorney Dwane Cates. They're giving us some great analysis right now early on here as this news is continuing to come out there, and waiting for more reports about what happened there inside of the courthouse. You can see on your screen we are still waiting for Hunter Biden to come out here. And this gun charge for Hunter here, this all had to do as he had a gun there while being dependent there on illegal drugs.
Oh, he actually, when he bought the gun, there's a section in the form that you fill out that says, do you use illegal drugs? And he put no. And during this time period, it's absolutely undisputed that he was a drug addict and he was using illegal drugs at the time that he bought this gun. And so, that's a problem. I've done several of these cases where people put false information onto that form. And both of the people that I represented did some jail time. Now, they didn't do, it's eligible for 10 years. They didn't do 10 years. I think one did 6 months, one did 9 months. But it never turns out to be a diversion plea, ever. And both of these clients that I had no prior records, no nothing, clean. They had jobs. One of them owned a business. So, it's really rare to see a diversion in a gun case.
Now, what does this make the DOJ and the government look like at this moment right here, where their plea deal not going through, judge won't even accept it? So if this was any other person but Hunter Biden, I mean, as you said there, this would never have happened in the first place.
Absolutely. And it's what this is doing is kind of reinforcing, what the congressional committee's doing and all the information that they're coming up with. I think it is really starting to weigh on this case too, because again, all that should be taken into consideration by the judge, and that's why they sent that brief to the judge, the defense has to be panicking. You have to be panicking in order to call a chambers and pretend to be somebody else. And try to pull a ruse like that on a federal judge's judicial assistant. That's a panic move, nothing else.
And as you said earlier there, can we see any type of sanctions against Hunter's legal team?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was mentioned today. I mean, again, federal judges are usually no nonsense. And if you try to pull something like that, I think the judges is trying to be measured and trying to not have the lawyer's bad acts affect the case, okay? And so I think she's going to separate the two, but I believe that she will be filing some sort of bar complaint with the state bar.
And for Hunter now, as you said there, his legal team has to be worried there. But for him himself there, this is something that he was hoping that would be swept away. Now it is going to continue to be talked about there. And at this moment there, it's going to be front and center for his father as well there, President Biden.
Oh, yeah, it affects both of them. And I think when they started this plea deal, I think they thought they could just kind of slip it in under the radar, kind of get it done, get in, get out. And boy, it blew up in their face.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at right now. Dwane Cates, thanks so much for coming on here on Live Now from Fox, giving us some really early analysis here as we are still learning more information there coming. But to be continued for Hunter Biden there in this saga that continues. So thanks so much, Dwane, for coming on and coming on here on Live Now as always.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
No problem, no problem. And of course, everyone, we will continue to bring you